how to work with graveyard spirits. Well, it would be the best if you work with somebody that you have some type of connection or relationship with. As always, like I said in my video today, I hope you watched it. The video that I posted said, before working with any spirits, you've got to have two things very clear. The first is you got to know your objective. Why are you even doing it? If you don't have a why, you're not going to get the results you want. And number two, you got to know what spirit you're working with. So if you're just doing it to see if it works, that's a bad idea. You can do it, and you can find out for yourself why it's a bad idea. Or you can take my advice because you asked. It's best to have an objective. Why are you doing this? And number two, it's best to know who and what you're communicating with. So it's best to have a relationship with the one that you're working with. And you got to employ the law of correspondence. So if that means going to the actual site to get some dirt, if that means just having some of their belongings that they used to own, and if you're not able to get any of those, you can even work with a photograph or an audio recording or even a video. But the important thing is that you have a link, and the next important thing is, the first important thing is that you have a reason, right? Have a reason. Number two, know who and what it is that you're working with. Number three, you want to have a link, a correspondence, something to connect you to them, something that you can focus on and that resonates the energy that they had when they were alive. Like I said, it can even be a picture if you don't personally work with them. But those are definitely some tips I would say working with that. I usually don't like working with graveyard spirits and people who've died because they carry a lot of emotional baggage. And if you're not very good at non-attachment, if you are very emotional and you attach to things like that, you're going to find that a lot of that baggage might actually start to weigh you down. So I don't recommend it unless you've got a good reason to do that. Do what you want by all means. And if you do get, if you are serious about that, I'll certainly help any way that I can, but, So I moved into this new home and it's only felt heavier and heavier as time goes by. Well, it might be a good idea to do a banishing or a cleansing, right? If you're not very skilled, then you can burn some sage. But if you have a little bit of skill, I would definitely recommend doing the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram. That works damn near all the time, right? Do the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram. Otherwise, you might have to YouTube different cleansing rituals. I know a few, but it might be a little bit much to get into in this live. Unfiltered Zero, that's a really good question. He says, once a spirit has reached out, should we just read more about them or start an altar or both? Definitely research the spirit. I think Tomb of the Scarab was talking about this on his live earlier. You definitely want to research the spirit that you're working with. That's going to be nothing but a great idea. Research, right? Why? Because you're going to get a better idea of what it is that you're working with, right? Before you have an idea, it's just abstract and you don't know what you're doing. But the more data that you get, the more you can kind of focus in on a specific objective representation of the spirit that you're working with. When you get a book like one of the ones that I mentioned earlier today, like Encyclopedia of Spirits, or even Lucifer and the Hidden Demons, you're going to find that there's a lot of correspondences in here. It's going to tell you what herbs, what incense, what oils, what food to offer, what colors, what day to invoke on, all these different things. They're not rules, they're correspondences that teach you how to connect through sympathy. It's called sympathetic magic, how to come into alignment with that current of energy. So that's why you want to research the entity that you're working with. And after you've worked with that entity, then you can start to build an altar. How can you build an altar if you don't know what to put on it, right? You're going to put what you think on there? It might be better to put what is in alignment with the spirit that you're working with. Okay, Love Nikki T says, I've seen shadows a lot, and so have the kids. Yeah, now look, again, don't be scared, because it's not always bad. It's not always bad. It just may be that this energy needs to be cleared out. A lot of times when the energy loses the container of the body, it begins to get more and more vague and general, and it starts to blend in with the surroundings, right? So it may be difficult to kind of pinpoint and separate it from your actual home. So listen, do the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, burn you some sage, look on YouTube for different cleansing methods, all right? You can do it. You can do it, but you got to get rid of the fear. You got to get rid of the fear. Now, if you don't want to get rid of it, if you might want to contain it like a Pokemon, maybe give it a use, because it might want to be used, you can get an object to attach it to. It's a lot like creating a servitor, but what you're going to actually do is take the entity that's there and harness it, anchor it to an object. That's something that you can do. Now there's things you can research on that. I've got a book on that, but it's downstairs. I'd have to run and get it, and you guys don't want to be looking at a blank screen. But there's ways. Magic is creativity, right? It's the imagination that bridges the gap between the spirit world and the physical world. So use your imagination. You can do whatever you want. Don't be afraid. Now, if you do have questions, of course you can ask me. That's why I'm here. But yeah, there's many things. You can get rid of it, or you can put it to use, because it's raw data. It's raw energy. You can capture it in a container and use it for your own benefit. But don't be scared of it. Oh yeah. Let's see. LVX777 says, give me all your books. You gotta send nudes first. What about working and connecting with your children and baby spirits? Yeah, that's highly possible. Highly possible as well. I'm not sure if you mean living or past. Bianca Cortez 777 says, I need to buy more books. Maybe not though. I would recommend buying the books on the subject that you're interested in right now. Keep in mind, I've been doing this for a long time, right? I've been working with the occult for 20 years. That is not an exaggeration. That is facts. I bought the Necronomicon and the Satanic Bible in 1999, and since then I've been a practitioner. So, of course, I've got 4 bookshelves full of data, right? Where you are right now, where you're starting at, work with what you're interested in. Work with what catches your curiosity. I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to be posting books every day, right? Because every day there are new people looking, and something might inspire somebody, but that doesn't mean that I'm trying to say that you need to do it, right? How can I protect myself? I work night shift at a nursing home, and I feel like I'm always picking stuff up. Non-attachment. Look into yoga. It's called Vairagya. V-A-I-R-A-G-Y-A. That's V-A-I-R-A-G-Y-A. It's called Vairagya, and it's basically the science of non-attachment. Everything is out here, but you don't have to attach to it, right? This is why I don't do any protection rituals or set up any... I don't do any of that, because I don't have to. I'm at one with my entire environment. So if anyone does send anything negative to me, it's just converted into usefulness, right? Because I'm not attached to any of it. Non-attachment. You can do it. Don't attach to the energy that these people have. You don't have to. You're choosing to do that, even if it's subconsciously, but you don't have to attach to it. Any advice for working on the throat chakra? Yes. Voice your opinion and be creative, right? The throat chakra is correspondent with the element of Akasha. All the other elements come out of Akasha. This relates to creativity. Everything comes out of creativity. So if you want to work with your throat chakra, the good idea is to be more creative and speak what's on your mind. Greg Holiday says, when I started meditation seriously, I stopped seeing shadow people. I guess I raised my vibe. Absolutely. Non-attachment. I'm telling you, that's the answer. Love Nikki says, I'd rather use it. Great. So get yourself a suitable anchor. It can be anything. It can be a toy. It can be a sigil. It can be a ring, a stone, anything. But pick something that's dedicated to this. And I recommend picking something that you haven't been using for another purpose already, right? Don't just use a crystal that's been lying around your room. Get a new one. And if you want to work with your visualization, think Ghostbusters, right? How they use that box trap thing to catch their ghosts. It's about creativity. Like I said, creativity is the glue that bridges the gap between the spirit realm and the physical realm. Yeah, like I said, if you guys are not following me already, go ahead and follow, because I'm posting videos daily on tips that work, that get you results.